Yes. Success. Hey everyone, this is Plan Weekly APAC style, and it is, what is it? It's Wednesday, September 9th or September 10th, depending on who you are on the call. So we can get started. The first one I marked as read-only, but I'll say it anyway since I'm talking. It's Mark Wood's anniversary, GitLab anniversary. So Mark, when you watch this video later, happy anniversary. We're super glad you decided to join GitLab, and I don't think any of us would know how to build requirements management if you weren't here. So glad you're here. Happy anniversary. On to demos. I think Simon is up first.
Yes, I am. Let's do it. All right, so the first one was not listed, but there was an extra little line above here on the Milestones page, and we got rid of that. So if you look on old GitLab, this is a new GitLab, there's no line above the title here, but somehow an extra little line snuck in, and I thought that looks pretty gross. So we got rid of that. Huge change, very impactful. We're already hearing good feedback on that one. People love it. I do. It was bothering me. Because the more relevant thing I was working on was this chart on the right. The burn up charts were previously fetching from the gross old REST endpoint. And aside from being incomplete and real slow, it was fetching like thousands of events just to render these couple of points. It also didn't render this actual line that makes the burn up chart valuable. The red completed line here, I think it might actually be green, but this is still in progress. It's in review. I've got a few things left to change. But burn up charts will now have the total issues and the completed issues. So you can see here when we do one, we can tell we actually completed it rather than cutting scope. And we also have weight, which the issue that I closed didn't have any weight assigned. So that's no good. But yeah, we otherwise have mostly complete burn up charts once this gets merged, which should be very soon.
That's awesome. Great work. Do you have a measure on that performance improvement by moving to GraphQL?
Heinrich had a comment posted somewhere.
Time to first byte or something like that, I would assume.
No, this is after it's loaded. Then these.
This is after the page.
So it's just more. Yeah, it's after the page is loaded. So it's just time for these charts to load.
Yeah.
For milestones, there's still a slow thing that we load all the issues, like in Haml. So the initial page load's still slow because of that. The page is super tall.
But the async,
but this is like time before charts
chart
up here
is better. Yeah.
So if we go to like an existing GitLab org milestone on .com, let's try 50. If this works, I'll be amazed. This should hopefully be really slow and take ages, just for comparison.
So far, so good.
Yeah. So this is currently just rendering a giant list of every issue in whatever milestone this happens to be. I think this is a 13.3. There we go. So this just rendered like 1,000 issues on the page. So this is something we should fix soon. But see, the charts are still loading. I think they're coming. This is what we want to deal with. There we go.
Yeah. What a great improvement. I'm so excited.
Yeah. So this will still have the slowness of this chart because this isn't going to be GraphQL, but it will only be half as slow.
That's awesome. Great work.
Thanks. Thanks, Heinrich, for doing most of the heavy lifting.
And those are both loaded asynchronously, right? So you're going to get, since burn up chart is going to be quicker than burn down, we're going to see the burn up chart before we see the burn down chart, more likely, right?
We see them both at the same time. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I can make them asynchronous.
I lost. Wait, so we are going to see them both at the same time? So will we see an improvement then?
We'll see a total improvement because we're not waiting for 2 slow endpoints, but we're still waiting for 1 slow endpoint. So we'll see less improvement than we would like for now. But the groundwork is laid
towards improvement, right?
That's what it's about.
Awesome. Questions for Simon for charts.
So that'll make, what are we on? 13.4, right?
Yep.
Because we're sorry, time is a fluid thing now. We're at the 9th. Yes, it'll definitely make 13.4. That's great.
Yeah, I think you demoed that locally, right, Tim? Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
We should be able to get, I mean, we still have like a week
Yeah,
to get
that's
the MR.
still in review, but this is far earlier than my MRs usually are. This is like usually the 17th I'm like this. So
Yeah,
I'm
because
confident.
you said it's in review, right? So yeah, it's hopefully.
Yep.
Yeah, we got a few weeks.
Awesome. All right. Excellent. You are up.
Hello, folks. So let me share my screen here. Here. So last time I demoed the Swimless Cyber, we had new components for each of the items. So one of the concerns was regarding consistency. So we managed to use the components we already had. For example, this is the same that we see on the board right now, the same epic selector, for example, and you can see that it also sets the property to the board store, the same with labels. So yeah, and this is back and forth, of course. Here it is. So we still have some UX concern to work on, but this is like a successful proof of concept over the store management of the board, and also using Vue and GraphQL to commit the change to the server. And yeah, this is it. It's a quick one. And feel free to ask any questions you have. So no question.
That looks awesome. Thank you.
No questions because we're all super excited about it.
Oh yeah, Donald, I sent you a video before, so you can watch that.
Scott, I
Yep.
think is next.
Cool. I was just actually checking. Thanks. Cool. So some of the work me and Axel did kind of overlapped. So just working on assignees in the same view for Epic boards. Cool. So we have assignees showing up now. This is look, we have an MR open. There's a few little design things that, like you notice the text is a different color. The CSS is super coupled to the structure of the page on an issue. So currently working on pulling those things out and figuring out how we can reuse them here and but not give us too much work. Working with Simon a lot on that. Yeah, so the next will be editing the assignees, and I'm going to work with Axel tomorrow on making a reusable edit functionality because we need those off click handlers, et cetera, et cetera. So we'll try and put that in one place so we can use them for the future as well.
I was going to ask, do we have a pajamas component for assignees in that view or in that form?
So yes and no. Currently in the, let me reshare my screen. So currently in the issue view. This is where it gets actually pretty complicated. So we go to an issue. We're reusing part of it because, so this is the same component that you just saw,
Right.
but when you click edit, it's tightly coupled to some jQuery stuff that we have implemented. This dropdown isn't using the new dropdown either in the search, etc. So we're reusing as much as we can in Pajamas and what we already have built, but then customizing it so that we can reuse it across all issuables at some point. So, because right now this is kind of like Frankenstein-y.
Yeah, it's a component inside of a component inside of jQuery.
Yeah.
Great.
So
Cool.
so we're getting there. We're getting there.
Awesome.
Is Donald?
Can you hear me or see me?
Yes.
Am I up?
You're
Yeah,
up.
we'll see how this works. First off, did Axel demo the full end-to-end? Did you change something in the sidebar and it changed something in the board? Did we see that?
Yes. Yeah.
Sure.
It's so exciting. Okay, let's see if our Kushal's demo works. This is a lie. Glad pay for a gig down when I'm getting 19. Where are we?
Sounds like you need a refund.
Oh, I'm not even sharing my screen. Hang on. Okay, everyone see? Does it work that far? Yeah, nods. I'll see this. Okay, cool. So I am demoing for Kushal the new test case form, and I already have it up and running, so that kind of spoils it. But it's behind a feature flag. Turning on the feature flag adds test cases to CI/CD here. Click on it. Right now, we don't have the list view. I shouldn't have clicked on it because things are moving slowly. But we don't have the list view done yet in this MR, but that'll go to the list view. And then there will be a button to create a new test case. For now, you just enter in the URL, which is already created. It's test_cases/new. That'll take you to this nice looking new form that is completely in Vue, which is unlike our current issue creation form, which is still using the older Haml form. So you get this. The backend is not hooked up yet, so this will not work, but we're using all our new components here, which is nice because these are, the components are all using shared components that ideally we can reuse for other issuable components, whether that be on the issue page or the test case page or some of these creation forms. Yeah, sorry, things are not working for me right now, but that was the demo essentially. Questions?
Awesome. Great work, Kushal. And good demo, Donald, despite your terrible internet.
Thanks, Justin. All right, Flory, you are up.
Okay, so small disclaimer. I made the mistake of rebasing with master right before the meeting, so my GDK is half busted. I'm just trying to find what to share here. On the bright side, I'm going to be able to show something I never can show usually, which is the failure behavior. So drag and drop issue between lists. So you can't switch between lanes currently, but you can do this. and it reverts back basically. I don't know if you saw that, but I moved this and it just went back to where it used to be here, because my GraphQL API doesn't do mutations right now because I just rebased. I need to fix that. Been playing with my GDK all morning. It's been fun. But when it's successful, basically this error doesn't display, obviously, and the dropped issue stays in place. But here is failure state.
That's
Any
cool
questions?
to see.
Yeah,
Is
I
that our
can never demo
standard
that
error?
usually. So.
Nice.
So I've been like, I probably need to discuss exactly wordings for errors with UX and maybe technical writing. For now, I've followed more or less the kind of errors that we display on classic boards in terms of wording. Are you asking about wording or the styling?
No, more the styling. It
So
just kind
this
of
is-
blends in a little bit.
Yeah, so this is the GL alert from GitLab UI, actually. It's the new, it's supposed to be the pajama styling. It's the update, like, because we used to do like Flash and it used to display bright red above the filter bar. So this is the new styling. If it blends too much, then I guess it's a question for UX. But it's the GitLab UI component, actually.
Cool. It may have just been me on my tiny screen that I missed it.
Anyway, that's it from me. Other questions?
I had just a similar question on placement of if we want to put it at the top versus closer. It's hard to tell with drag stuff if you should put it where you tried to drop the thing or where it goes back to. I don't know. Errors.
So
are
you
hard.
mean displaying it where exactly?
Like under the epic title of the epic you're in or something, maybe. Just so it's closer to where your cursor is. And
okay, so the current way it's done, it's because we have like a one GL alert component on the component that contains boards, and it's like a stand, like it's only used once. If I have to do that, I'd have to put like GL alerts like everywhere. So for now it's in one spot and we just pass the error for any kind of error will be passed to the same component. Then if we want to do it differently, we need to have a chat with UX and see. But like doing what you wanted, we would need to add GL alerts in many places.
So all the subcomponents, yeah.
Yeah.
That's still.
That's why it's not like that currently.
Yeah. But again, thanks for demoing an error state because we never actually test or see those.
Thank my GDK for being annoying this morning. But yeah, I can never demo that usually. So at least you can see that the state gets reverted, which is cool. And error messages. Yeah. Otherwise it works. When the GDK works, it actually works.
Great work, Flory. I was going to type, if I could type, to suggest a scrolling marquee to pile on to Donald's great suggestions in the chat.
Scrolling, sorry?
Do you remember scrolling marquees from the GeoCities days of the internet, or it was like text would just scroll across the screen, across the whole? It's a joke. Don't do that. It's terrible.
No.
Terrible for usability, terrible for accessibility, and terrible for usability.
I saw one of those in the wild today on an updated 2020 website. Yeah, for a school out here.
Oh,
they had something about like an enrollment banner that flew on the top of the screen that said enroll now for 2020, even though the expiration date to enroll was like 6 months ago. So, but yeah, brought back memories.
You should just send them a little HTML to fix that. Here's a snippet. Cool. Any other demos? Speak now or forever hold your demo. Cool. I had the next one under workflow. So I merged this MR, at least I think it merged. I hit the merge train button. And this was in response to I don't know the last time we all talked about an update here, but I put it in the issue, but in the RCA that I opened a few weeks back in terms of what we want to do with our process. And this MR is very simple, and it's pairs with what I think John opened that updates the individual engineering pages as well, but it's basically following the handbook. So it's not controversial. It's pretty straightforward. It actually makes it, I'm excited by this change because it makes it a bit easier for us to follow and track, because it's literally the same. We're going to do the same exact thing as what every other stage and every other group is doing at GitLab. So if you have questions, feel free and either open another MR if you have an improvement or a change you want to make, or you can do it off the doc here or do it on that MR, even though it's merged. And happy to take feedback. So just thought I'd share. And then the last one, I'm super excited, and Gabe's here. He helped drive a lot of this with Matthew, who's our partner on the data science team. But we now have an officially official SMAO metric, and which is also for SMAO for plan as a stage is the same as project management's GMAO. But we now have it in a chart, and it's plotted, and you can tell the difference between self-managed and .com, and we have the target plotted, and it's beautiful. So I think we talk about metrics in more detail at the beginning of the month, but I wanted to drop this link in here so y'all can bookmark it. It's one that I check at least once a week, or as often as I can, once data starts to show up. We don't have September yet, and I think that's partly because of how data is transported and extracted, translated, and loaded for usage ping. But nonetheless, I'm excited by it. So take a look. That's the core metric that we track as a stage for plan. Most important metric for our stage.
That's awesome. I wonder if we want to figure out, because it's cool seeing both the SaaS and the self-managed on there, but it at first glance looks like self-managed isn't, like, user interaction isn't quite as high. But that's primarily because we only track 30% of our self-managed users, correct? Like, we're not deriving,
Yes.
We're not adding, we're not accounting for the ones we don't track as for our self-managed instances.
If Gabe's still listening, he knows the exact percentage, but it's not complete. So we're only tracking a subset of all self-managed customers. So yeah, it is deceiving because we're tracking 100% of SaaS customers, right? So it's squishy. There's also some interesting investigation that Gabe has been helping facilitate around understanding like what moves that number. And in some cases, we've had customers who have opted out of usage ping on self-managed. We've had some that have grown, et cetera, et cetera. And so really understanding the why behind that chart is like the next step, right? And so hopefully in the coming month or so, we'll have a deeper understanding of it and can talk more about it in more detail. But yeah.
Yeah, I can add just that on .com, we're tracking all of the interactions with an issue, whereas on self-managed, the only thing we can track is who created an issue. So we're working on figuring out, like, it's a fairly hairy problem, but how can you get like basically a union across 4 different tables to determine distinct unique users who do an action on an issue, which is a performance bottleneck for the usage ping because it has to be under a second, the query does. So we're trying to figure that out. Mario's helping a lot, and Heinrich's helping as well. So we'll see if we can figure that out. But if we can, then the usage ping data will be more at parity with .com, and we'll actually drop the .com data and standardize on usage ping, which is the goal. So it's a little background.
Yeah, thanks, Gabe. Yeah, and for context, too, usage ping also includes SaaS. It's just not like the snowplow set of data, right? So we capture both in one place, so we can use that as our single source of truth instead of what we've been doing, which is like a dance between the two sources. Cool. Thanks for that context, Gabe. It's helpful. All right. Anything else?
Yeah, and I think the key thing with that sorry, just the key thing with that chart is just the uptrend from this year, which is nice to see. Like we're kind of equal for last year, the end of last year, and we've been tracking up trending, which is nice to see.
Yeah, it's great. I like that we're counting now, even though we can only do it for .com, but we're counting interactions with issues versus just creation. Because, you know, if you think of the plan team, Gabe, or the project management group, Gabe might have opened an issue, created it, but 8 to 10 people or more might have interacted with that issue, right? And so we're actually counting the true definition of like a monthly active user when you filter to plan versus just the creators, which is great. Cool. Anything else? Doesn't sound
No,
like it.
there is not.
Alrighty. Well, have a great day, everyone, and a great rest of your week. And we'll see you later.
Thanks.
Thanks
Bye.
all.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.